actually called Keep the Fire Burning. This was actually preached as a sermon before. It was actually God gave it to me as a sermon. But when you come to Vayikra, it's one of those things that it's like one of your just all-time fun ones or all-time favorite ones. And God said, yeah, okay, but not as your sermon. You can do it as a teaching. So we are going to be doing that now. It is called Keep the Fire Burning. One of the things we see within the first two parashah in the book of Leviticus, or what is actually known as Vayikra. And you're going to see sacrifices listed, sacrifices given. You're also going to see proper instructions for them. And one of the things we look at the book of what we call Leviticus, and you read it when you're a new believer, you read Leviticus, you're looking and you keep flipping back to the end because you want to know when the next book starts. It's sort of like Chronicles or Kings. You're looking and you're going, okay, how much more have I got left to go? And it's because you really haven't gotten into the richness of it. A lot of that goes on. You're going, oh man, just one animal after another getting butchered, and it's often referred to as like a butcher's manual. But it's not a butcher's manual at all, because there's some amazing things that God teaches us in the book of Leviticus. We look at this, and I want you to understand that the idea of sacrifice, that was never foreign to man. Man, that was not a foreign idea to him. That's not something he would have had just this incredibly hard time trying to understand. And so you're going to realize, because all of the religions of the biblical times, they were based on sacrificial worship. They were all based on sacrificial worship. So when the true God is there and he expects sacrifices, that's not a strange theory to anybody. That's not a strange thing to anybody. They wouldn't have had problems with this. All the religions of the biblical times, they were based on sacrificial worship. The Israelites themselves, they couldn't conceive of worship without it. You're saying, well, how can that be? It's simple. Cain, Abel, and Noah, they offered sacrifices without even being commanded to do so. The Torah was on their heart. They knew. You're never going to find where they were actually commanded to do those sacrifices. But the people of these pagan religions, here's the difference. The idea of sacrifice isn't foreign. But the people of pagan religions, they believed that they were sacrificing these animals to an angry, and I do use the word angry supposed God, or supposed gods. And what they were hoping for is that these sacrifices would appease these so-called gods. It's like, okay, we need to offer these sacrifices to God because he's angry, and this will calm him down. That's the way the other religions look at it. My question to you, if you're in one of these types of religions, or you're in this mindset, why are these gods angry? Why are they angry? What do the people do to make these gods angry? Because when we look at the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, what we see is a God who has absolutely set up what sin is in his perfect Torah. We are told by his instructions that those instructions, you look at Deuteronomy 6:24, it says that they are for your good. They're for your good. When you look at them that way, you're not repelled by them. They're for your good. And we further understand that by violating these instructions, we become separated from God. So, we see the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We understand that he would be upset with us for violating Torah. That's his perfect Torah. He wouldn't want us to violate it. But the thing that we see that separates him from these pagan gods, from these false gods, he's patient, he's long-suffering, and what truly sets him apart is that he wants to be restored and made whole so that he can be in proper fellowship with us, because that's how much he loves us, and that's how much he misses us. He longs for fellowship. So what you've got in these pagan religions, you've got these supposed gods. They do as some still do today. They rule by fear. People say that some of these things, they've got no concept of God. No, they do have a concept of God. It's why they're blowing themselves up, because they know in their own perfect self, their own walk, they know they can't measure up to God's standards. But somebody told them that they had a guarantee by dying as a martyr. So I don't believe that there's people out there that truly don't believe there's a God. Because even those people are their own God. So when you see this in these other religions, Islam, if you haven't guessed, that's what I'm talking about. It's not that they don't believe there's a God. Because they do. But what they don't understand is a loving God. They don't understand a God that doesn't expect you to be perfect. They don't understand a God who wants you to have a relationship with him. They rule by what? Fear. There's other religions. They rule by fear. And so they think they're sacrificing to these other gods to appease them because they're afraid. Big difference. Because that's not the way it is with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There's love there. There's love. The concept of sacrifice to an angry supposed God